Can a single U-boat win World War II? That is going to be the question we're answering today in U-Boat, a game that simulates the camaraderie and sense of adventure that only the Kriegsmarine can provide. We have to use careful trigonometry to launch torpedoes at mildly justifiable targets, undertake peacekeeping missions, and attempt to starve Britain into submission. Over the course of this video, we're going to be going from dangerously incompetent, the gun's broken, to a genuine threat to the Royal Navy. Oh my god, that exploded something big. All in the name of doing enough damage as a solo submarine to end World War II. Oh my god, they rammed me! Are you kidding me? Our first mission is to go on a patrol off the coast of the Netherlands. It should be pretty routine provided Germany doesn't do anything like invade Poland. Now that we're at war, our aim is to cripple British shipping. As you and I both know, the British are physically incapable of cooking. Therefore, stopping their importing of food, and specifically tea, will force them to revert into a primal form and tear each other to shreds. There's been several documentaries all about this phenomena. The lads are thirsty for some action, so when I'm offered a high difficulty mission to sink ships in the Celtic Sea, I take it. On the way, we get to know our officers a little bit better. We have Schuster, a radio man whose talent for listening in on enemy communications was born from listening to his parents' divorce. Weber and Nod, cousins and mechanics that can fix anything on four wheels. They did not know that they would be on a submarine. Hoffman, a decorated leader of men with over 14 participation medals to his name. And finally, our character, Otto Big O Platzmann. He got his position for his proficiency at playing with a toy submarine in his uncle's bath. There's also the common sailor Hornicle, who I'm sure will have no relevance to the story whatsoever. Attempting to pass through the English Channel, it lives up to its name, as we are immediately hounded by several warships, forcing us to crash dive and try and sneak through. This draws serious accusations of cowardice. Eric Luther has apparently been mocking us behind our back, leading to the first German naval casualty of the war. No. Wait. Eventually we make it to our patrol sector and start to look for some slightly less well-armed ships to begin to engage. Before long, we pick up the sounds of propellers with our hydrophone and begin to move in. Peering through the periscope, I prove my aptitude for vexillology as I spot the Swiss flag. There's one. Is that a Swiss flag? I think it might be a Swiss flag. This means this is a neutral ship and we're not allowed to sink it without evidence that they're helping the Allies. We surface and approach the freighter, looking to find any evidence that they're helping the Allies. Well, it looks like a Swiss ship for sure, but the Swiss don't have any ports. Hello? Stop the boat. Sending a delegation headed by Otto himself, we tried to ask for his papers, but... So he spoke in German. What happened? What happened? Oh my god, they rammed me! Are you kidding me? Hey! Right, let's go on my own. You're paying for that. I'm gonna find any reason I can to sink you. I'd forgotten to put the brakes on the submarine, leading to not insignificant damage from the collision. To make matters worse, these shipping documents appear to be in German, a language that Otto cannot read. You can't decipher much since they're written in German. What am I? This is because Otto cannot read. Not wanting to be exposed, he shrugs, nods, and hands back the documents, before immediately boarding the ship and leaving. We were hoping to put this whole thing behind us. Finishing the patrol, we go back to the port for repairs. The only bright side is that Hoffman gets participation medal number 15. Back on dry land, we blame losing a fight to an unarmed freighter on the traitor, Eric Luther. Clearly, this man was an incredible British spy. We then accept a mission to patrol the Celtic Sea once more. This time with orders that if we don't sink a single ship, we're going to be court-martialed. Narrowly dodging some aircraft along the way, we make it to the patrol area. There, we quickly spot a lone merchant ship. Something this way. In U-boats, you can either undertake advanced trigonometry and careful calculations to launch a torpedo, or you can get one of your officers to do it for you. It won't matter, both will miss. Oh no, bloody missed! Still, eventually, through trial and error, we're able to get a decent shot off, resulting in our first hit of the war, after 3 patrols. Yes! Boom! I did say it was going to start rough, but it gets better. Just to be safe, I engage in what is known colloquially as a naval double tap, whereby I get on the big gun on the front and fire at anything that moves. Is that a lifeboat or an advanced missile craft? We have no way of knowing for sure. Patrolling further east, we pick up multiple propellers. This will get harder and harder throughout the war as tactics evolve, but the British have a nasty habit of mixing in armed, dangerous ships along with their fun merchant ones. In response, I enable silent running as we wait for a moment to attack. This is a much larger convoy than I was expecting. We probably shouldn't engage it as it's our third mission of the war. However, we earned our position through blatant nepotism, not critical thinking, and so, torpedoes away. Here we go. Bang! That's a good hit. Let's say the other one missed, I think. Sunk. Excellent. Unfortunately, submarines are supposed to be sneaky, and so launching more torpedoes at a second target whilst being actively hunted is something Sun Tzu would call a brain-dead idiot move. We attempt to crash dive and get away, but they're patrolling the area. At this point, I have a pretty big brainwave. If their ships sink, they won't be able to chase us, and so we surface to fire off more torpedoes. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They know we're here. They 100% know we're here. Not only do these not hit, they alert the corvette to our exact position. It is not long before the ocean around us begins to explode as depth charges detonate.
Oh god. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, they found us. Oh!
In terms of damage, we have multiple reported casualties, along with 3 leaks that we can physically detect. I phrase it like that because the lights have gone out and we have no way of knowing for sure. To make matters worse, we have negative buoyancy and are rapidly sinking. And then, there's a thud as we hit the sea floor. Going to first person mode to assess the damage, the pressure causes Otto's eyeballs to burst and blood clots to form in his brain.
Ah! Ah!
My rule for this challenge was I was going to be allowed 1 reload to get to know the game and learn the ropes. And I've already burned it before the Germans have even taken Poland. We're going to have to be a lot more cautious here on out as our only lifeline is gone. This time, avoiding the convoy, we go back to port with 2 kills under our belt. To my surprise, actual medals are handed out instead of the tinfoil wrapped chocolate ones. We've even sunk enough tonnage to advance to the next stage of the war. This meant that Otto and his very good friend, Sailor Hornicle, had some time to spend together before receiving their next orders. Our next mission, after narrowly sinking 2 unarmed ships, attack Scapa Flow. This is the naval equivalent of Level 1 Kill the Goblin, Level 2 Attack God. For those unaware, Scapa Flow is the main British naval base throughout the course of World War II. This massive step up in difficulty meant only one thing. Someone was trying to get rid of Otto. Still, orders are orders, so the question of who is behind this conspiracy is going to have to wait if we survive. Realizing that we're going to need some help to navigate this conspiracy going forward, we use a reputation point to unlock another officer slot. If we survive this attack, as a reward, we'll be granted access to George Thim as an officer. He is a HR manager whose ability to throw a pizza party to increase morale is unmatched. Plotting our course, we take to the seas. As we approach from the east, new orders come in telling us to get closer to the main anchorage. As we get closer, we are immediately entangled by a submarine net.
Oh.
We collide with a submarine net. Do we have to go over it?
Okay, so yeah, you really did mean we did like fully collide with it. Okay, alright.
Fortunately, Big Otto's unconventional steering gives us an inherent advantage. Realizing we'd have to be surfaced to eventually escape, if we escape, I marked the nets on our map. This was mainly because it makes me feel smart to mark things on a map. Approaching our target, we then get the notification that our goal is to sink the Royal Oak. This is a 30,000-ton battleship. Trying to creep closer, we're spotted by another ship in the vicinity. This means we have to launch torpedoes now.
Just if I see in the water, don't tell me you missed. Nice, 1 hit, 2 hits. Did you spread them? Are you an idiot? Who spreads them? It's staying still. Just shoot everything in the same line.
That's right, in a bizarre move presumably heavily influenced by the sheer quantity of glue that he was huffing at the time, our torpedo guy decides to spread shots on a stationary target. For the second volley, I took manual command of the aiming, hitting every single shot. However, here is further evidence of sabotage because half of the torpedoes were duds. With no time to waste, we inhabit the soul of Schuster and get him to go and load the torpedoes himself.
Manually run you through this entire thing to the torpedo room. Wrong way.
We then tell Weber to do the exact same.
Get everyone to do it manually. Go, 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 go. Get out of the way. The hell did I walk in on?
2 more duds confirm my earlier suspicions of sabotage, but we've finally done enough damage to bring down the Royal Oak. Crash diving, we head east to leave the same way we came in. I did not forget to surface and didn't hit the submarine nets. After not disentangling ourselves, we head into the North Sea to make our escape. Once we're in port, we receive the German cross in gold. But the real question is, who is trying to sabotage us? Is it our superior officer giving us suicide missions? Perhaps it's the very warehouse guy that has to supply us, sick of me only taking free torpedoes that he has to load himself. Or maybe this conspiracy goes all the way to the top. As a reward for completing the Scapa Flow mission, we get the bullseye skill on all of our officers, and George throws us a legendary pizza party. At this point, Poland has fallen to Germany and the USSR, and we're told to advance the war by landing an agent in Ireland. Plotting a course that gives Scapa Flow a wide berth, we set out. On the way, we receive communication from another U-boat. It seems that there's a small convoy nearby that they need help taking out. If you haven't already gathered, Big O has the skullduggery instincts of a particularly dim turnip, so he rushes to help. Tracking the propellers with the hydrophone, we sneak to the back of the convoy at the dead of night. Here we joined our fellow comrades who were in this other U-boat. They attempt to launch torpedoes but miss. This is actually a good thing because it gives us a shared interest to bond over. However, these guys were absolute pros at missing the target.
Oh my god. Oh, he missed all 4.
Not wanting to be outdone, we then miss our own shots, but eventually someone has to hit something. Then we hear a shriek and a splash. It turns out that the seas can be rough, and standing on the top of a submarine in a storm, probably not the best idea. However, Otto's crew have been picked because of their willingness to follow orders, not their critical thinking skills, and 3 more men go and take the place of the fallen sailor, only to fall in the sea themselves. Considering we had now lost more than 10% of our crew to Poseidon, I decide to call off the attack and go to our original aim of getting to Ireland. I use the time to personally forge documents denying that the deceased sailors were ever on my crew. Their families may not get a war pension, but this stops me from looking bad, so it's an easy decision to make. Approaching the coast, the spy immediately parts, presumably to defect to a neutral nation after seeing the state of the German Navy. I communicate our success to the Admiralty, but then a new objective appears. Survive.
Oh no.
Dodging warships and aircrafts alike, we round the coast of Scotland. Making it back to port, our investigations on who is exactly behind the attempts on our life do yield some success. It turns out someone had leaked our mission of landing an agent in Ireland to the Allies, which is why they were waiting for us. This rules out the warehouse guy at least, because I'm pretty sure he is too deep into a drug-fueled psychosis to remember my name. Our next set of missions are the less than glamorous mine-laying missions. This is a series of 3 missions, each laying anti-ship mines that are specifically designed to target civilians. I thought I misread my orders, but no, these mines are specifically designed to only be set off by small fishing vessels and particularly large aquatic mammals. The idea behind this is a false flag attack designed to make the British government look like whale killers, which is sure to get the British workers to rise up and break... What side are we on? When we arrive, I confuse mines for torpedoes and launch off 5 of them, presumably taking out a porpoise or 2. Running quickly to the torpedo room to cover up our mistake, we load up the mines and begin to lay them. Once this is complete, we are immediately swarmed by a bunch of warships who once again suspiciously seem to know exactly where we are. With depth charges going off nearby, we had only 1 torpedo left to save ourselves.
You really cannot miss from here. Nice! Go, 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 go! No need to silent run, just go. Oh, we sunk it! Alright, let's just blitz out of there then. Go, go, go. Blow the tanks. Oh, what a hit, son!
We're then sent to mine the northern coast of Scotland before swinging down to Portsmouth. I had actually learned how to be a stealth submarine in the meantime, so Scotland went off without a hitch. Portsmouth, however, a little different. It turns out one of the UK's most important ports is heavily guarded, but it's nice to see that there's incompetence on both sides.
What the hell happened here? What did you do? As God is my witness, he is broken in half. What? Can I claim the kill on that?
Happily for us, a fellow U-boat had managed to beach itself.
I don't think he sunk. I think he beached himself. Yeah. He's just beached himself. Look, you can't say you've sunk when, frankly, you're still halfway out.
This provided a fantastic distraction as 12 warships swarmed the area, allowing us to slip by undetected. All we had to do was hightail it out of there and get back to port. In return for lowering house prices in the coastal areas of the UK, we get the quick loading skill. This is something we'd put to immediate use. Having completed the grunt work of mine laying, it was now time for the more fun missions of sinking unarmed merchant ships, this time in the North Sea. Upon arriving, we receive urgent communications from our headquarters. It turns out there's a new prototype of a sonar being carried by a British ship in the vicinity. If we can sink it, it could change the course of the war. Approaching at full speed, the silent hunter stumbles upon a warship protecting the colony. It was only at this point I realized the sheer scale of this convoy. There are dozens of ships with multiple warships to protect the entire thing. To be clear, we need to sink the Empire Ayer. That ship. That could be any one of these signatures. We have no way of knowing until we get in close. Steeling himself for the task ahead, Big Otto gives a rousing speech about patriotism and bravery to his men. Unfortunately, he is not what you'd call a natural orator, so his attempts at rousing the men immediately spark a shipwide panic. The yelling causes the warship to be immediately alarmed to our presence. And then we have multiple depth charges thrown our way. Given we can't run away, I decide to go to periscope depth and hide next to one of the freighters, hoping that the sounds of the convoy will mask our engine. I cannot believe this actually worked. They couldn't find us. Still, the hunter killers knew that we were somewhere in the convoy, and presumably being American, they begin to fire indiscriminately into the crowd. This results in the sinking of the very ship that we were sent to sink.
Huh?
As Sun Tzu says, if you act like a dumbass, there's a chance that your enemy will as well. Speaking of dumbasses, in his panic, Alvin Keller had sprinted full tilt into the steel hull, resulting in grievous injuries. He was not the only one, as psychosis gripped the crew and they began to attack their immediate surroundings. On a note completely unrelated to the psychosis, my congratulations to Weber, who somehow managed to extend our rations' expiry dates by 8 years, meaning we never had to buy any new food. Discipline on board had dropped to a historic low of 11%. This led to general panic and the undertaking of ungodly rituals to try and get me to surface the boat. Still, ignoring this, we have a job to do, and I think it's high time I finally practice my manual aiming.
That's going to be the angle, which means we're going to be firing at 2 kilometers. I kind of want to get a little closer. Okay, that has, yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything more like it. That's an Empire Tower. Right there, recognize that. Velocity. There we go. There you go, 13 kilometers an hour. I think we're good to go.
20 seconds.
Okay, I missed completely.
It's a miss.
Okay, yeah.
When all else fails, there's a different type of manual aiming to rely on.
Right. Even I can't miss this.
On our way back to port, we stumble upon another lone merchant ship, providing another opportunity to practice more manual aiming, this time with a little bit more success.
Nice. There you go, that'll do it. I mean, they're already instantly going down. Nice.
Back at port, I send my crew off for a holiday in a Bavarian village, because the last thing we need is them braining themselves against the steel hull. I mean, that could cause actual damage to the submarine. Whilst the crew are away, we are told that the second phase of the tonnage war is now complete, due in no small part to our own efforts. When the crew returns, we're told to press our advantage and patrol the risky but lucrative northern coast. However, as we're on the way, new orders come in that we're to patrol the comparatively empty Northern Sea. We were being benched. Even worse than having nothing to hunt, we were being actively gaslit. Each time that we were told of a possible target from a fellow U-boat, we'd go there only to find absolutely nothing. In fact, the only ship we managed to sink was outside of the patrol area. Was I being paranoid? Were we being iced out? After slipping the warehouse man an industrial amount of mind-altering drugs, he informs us that there was a rogue U-boat that had been attempting to get us sunk. Travelling to the Celtic Sea for a patrol, we then go over to Cornwall, which is where this rogue U-boat was last seen. It turns out that this U-boat was part of a conspiracy to sideline us in the war because we were simply too successful. Some German weapons manufacturers were concerned about the war ending too soon if we're involved, and so sought to take us out. They did this by passing information to the Allies to get us sunk. Well, in the dead of night, the tables turn. Now free from the shackles of corporate espionage, it was time to go back to attacking unarmed merchant ships like a real hero. This is the largest convoy I've seen in this game, and we are in the middle of it. Oh my god! This is such a massive convoy. I mean, even if we miss and we're going to hit something, I'm just... Oh, this could be a problem. I think we just have to hit as many as possible and then run. Aiming very carefully, we fire off 2 torpedoes. Oh, that's a bad miss. Oh, you thought I was aiming for the close one? No, that's far too easy for Big Otto, as he hits a target 4 kilometers away, completely on purpose. I think I hit that shit over, I hit this one over here. I did just miss. Still in the middle of the convoy, but now being actively hunted, we fire off a stern torpedo at a second target. I'm actually pretty sure we caused a couple of these ships to collide in the chaos. I mean, they're more packed together than Germans in a beer hall in Oktoberfest. Or another thing that Germans do which presses them together. Back at Wilhelmshaven for the final time in 1939, we've successfully sunk enough ships to pass the second phase of the tonnage war. However, there is no time for Otto to rest and take a long walk with Sailor Hornicle, as we're immediately summoned by our superior officer. He informs us that the U-boat that we just sunk actually had a partner, and they're planning to hand over the Enigma machine to the Allies. I mean, could you imagine if they managed to crack it? We're dispatched to the Hebrides to stop this from happening. We arrive at the scene only to find 2 warships guarding the boat. There really isn't much of a choice here, we have to sink these 2 ships. Carefully aiming, we line up 2 torpedoes to hit each ship.
Turning those out, see if that takes them. Bang. Oh my god, that exploded something big.
Unfortunately, much like a child lacking in object permanence, I forget that ships can move, meaning our latter 2 torpedoes miss completely. Now the smart thing for a submarine to do in this situation, where you're being actively hunted by a destroyer designed to take you out, is to slink off into the deep, reload your torpedoes, and come back for another shot. But Otto is not a smart man. Therefore, we surface the submarine and man the guns.
I got an idea. It's not a good one.
Captain, search the boat for hidden damage.
I think he's going down. I think I hit fuel depot or something. Boom! Alright, cool. It's going down. Hell yeah!
Approaching the U-boat, we ignore the cries of jubilation as they believe they're about to be rescued, plant machine guns in their hands, and sink the U-boat. Then recover the Enigma machine. Now that we're no longer in danger of having our every move tracked as we live in World War II Germany, we can now focus on other aspects of the war, like research. In the headquarters, we can assign surplus officers to research new technologies. For example, better torpedoes, or decoys, or why don't Otto's parents love him? To my complete shock, we're told that the French are actually in this war, and so we're told to patrol the Bay of Biscay and make life a nuisance for them. Heading out there, we immediately find a very strange convoy to attack. This convoy was experimenting with a bold new strategy of staying incredibly still in the hopes that I don't see them. Unfortunately for them, I'm not a T-Rex in the Jurassic Park movies, and so we just shot them. You can tell that this is a French convoy because upon hitting the first target with the torpedo, his escort immediately leaves the area. Given the lack of movement and apparently no protection, it meant that we could take our time and park our U-boat in the perfect area to take our shots. It's not even shooting fish in a barrel, because at least fish like twitch a little bit. It's more like a doctor unplugging the life support of his comatose patient. Still, I'm not one to complain about good luck. In fact, I'm more than likely to claim it's of my own making. We sink ship after ship until we run out of torpedoes. Even then, we're surfacing and taking shots with a machine gun. As we sail back into Wilhelmshaven, we hear that thanks to our efforts, Britain is actively starving, and the kingdoms of Mercia, Wessex, and Northumbria are ready to secede. This could be just propaganda from my uncle, but I believe it, and so does Sailor Hornicle. Our next patrol is off the coast of East Anglia, as we're told that London holds the key to victory. Spotting a vessel, we go in to check it out.
It's a neutral ship that's heading to London, so I don't know.
The Lugano is flying the Swiss flag, and so is technically a neutral ship, but it is heading for London, in my opinion. Therefore is helping the Allies, and is a valid target. Boarding the vessel with Big Otto armed with a gun, and Luther armed with explosives, and a couple of goons for good measure, we board the ship and have a little chat with the captain. He alleges that they are transporting food to Buenos Aires, but is noticeably nervous when handing over the shipping documents. Could this be because of the copious amounts of explosives and guns he's in front of? No, he's guilty. The documents do seem in order, but they could be forgeries, and so we begin to search the hold. However, the modern world has eroded my attention span, so I quickly get bored after 2%. And instead, we inform him we're going to sink the ship.
Yeah, I think we sink it. It's clearly going to London. 100% was an enemy ship. 100%.
I don't know if you know this, but in 1940, London is an incredibly busy port. It isn't long before we find another freighter to play with. Previously, we would have fired 16 torpedoes, missed all of them, and then attacked them with a gun. But with a new innovation called boarding the ship, we can tell them to leave, they stop and stand still, and then we can sink it. This time, we decide to use high-grade explosives right in the engine room. Now, is buying explosives infinitely more expensive than my free torpedoes? Maybe, but I'm already doing trigonometry, I'm not going to do economics as well, nerd. It turns out attacking ships in the mouth of the most important river, owned by the largest navy, tends to draw some attention. However, lessons learned from Schuster's upbringing teach us that by sitting very quietly and not drawing attention to ourselves, we can avoid being violently attacked by our by the destroyers. At this point, there are a lot of warships, so we opt to head home. There's no fun in attacking unarmed freighters if they're protected after all. That's just not what I signed up to the Kriegsmarine to do. Once again, our next mission to the North Sea yields absolutely nothing, and all messages from other U-boats similarly gaslight us into chasing nothing. Anytime we enjoy a little bit of success, we're sidelined by Big Navy. This conspiracy is still alive despite our best efforts. To make matters worse, Bernard Schultz has been poisoned. I know it might say tuberculosis, and that's what everyone thinks, but you'd be wrong. You see, Big Otto was scheduled for a mandatory vaccine, but he doesn't trust Big Pharma, so he paid Schultz 6 Reichsmarks to take the jab for him. And now look at what's happened. And now on top of all of that, our supply of methamphetamines is critically low, causing officers to complain about overworking and drop unconscious from exhaustion. Our next orders say there's an unguarded convoy off the north coast of Scotland, but I'm pretty sure that's a warship. Once again, we've been led into a trap. We miss our torpedoes and have to rely on good old-fashioned gunnery.
Come on.
Oh. Panicked, they attempt to ram their sinking vessel into us at high speeds, but we manage to sink them before they arrive. This is not without cost though, as Hornicle lays injured. Some other guy might be dying, but Hornicle, my precious Hornicle, is down. Stunned by how close he came to losing Hornicle, his good friend, Hornicle, Otto collapses on the top deck and has to be helped down into the bows of the ship. Heading back to port, we are greeted by Klaus.
I often hear words of admiration from other captains regarding your GRT totals for sinkings in the Atlantic. Well done, Captain.
Well, there you have it. The other captains are clearly jealous of our success, and they don't care how many Hornicles have to die. There's also a vicious, unfounded rumor that that ship we sunk, the Lugano, was actually a neutral ship, and we've caused a diplomatic incident. Gentlemen, the vultures are circling, and that means only one thing. We have to end this war, and end it now. Our research for more advanced technology is done, and we've unlocked the Type VIIC submarine. Using all of our curried reputation points, we purchase this new submarine and transfer all of our crew to it. Before we do anything dramatic, we have to take the submarine out for a spin. course, this test includes testing out the machine gun.
I think they all dove overboard.
I may have been slightly distracted, looking for legitimate targets to shoot, so I didn't notice this.
Oh my god.
This is what we've trained for. We'll get through this together.
Thank you, George. Heading back to port and getting fully repaired, it was time to put my plan into action. Firstly, we dropped our good friend Hornicle off at port. He couldn't be a part of what was going to happen next. Accepting a routine patrol mission now that we'd won the tonnage war and completed all objectives, everyone expected this to be a routine mission. However, we had one goal in mind: London. We were told that it was the key to this entire war. The heart of the British Empire. If we could conquer it, we could end the war, and Hornicle would finally be safe. Approaching at night, the mouth of the Thames was under constant watch, with fast attack craft everywhere. Fortunately, we could stay under the cover of darkness at periscope depth, traveling silently. We should be fine, provided we...
Oh my god!
It turns out the British had cunningly laid mines across the river, causing serious damage to our craft. Still, despite the damage, we had managed to get past them. So provided there isn't anything on more mines... Somehow we were still seaworthy, and dragging ourselves along the riverbed. All we had to do...
Oh no, not more of them. Just keep going, boys.
Despite all the damage and casualties, my boys managed to patch the leaks, and we carried on forwards. At times, the riverbed is less than a meter below us, but still, we press forwards. Then, in the murky darkness, we see something.
No way! Why is there another U-boat in the Thames?
It was Hornicle. He'd somehow gotten wind of our plans, commandeered a U-boat, and had piloted it himself, all to join us for this one final mission. Moving further up the Thames, we see the Empire Prairie, a ship rumored to contain one Winston Churchill. He's an advocate for continuing the war, and if he ever becomes Prime Minister, that's going to be a problem. He has to go.
40 seconds to impact. 20 seconds.
There you go.
Then we see the Empire Gulliver, the King's personal vessel, completely unguarded, because who would be stupid enough to sail a U-boat all the way up the Thames through all those mines?
10 seconds to impact.
Oh my god, I'm bullying them in the Thames.
Evacuates the ship.
We arrive in the port of London, somehow still afloat, and we take aim at the city.
Like! Try this on the beach. Have that on the field. Right, boys. Driving speed. Take him out. Full speed ahead. Britain's not been invaded for 1,000 years. Today that ends.
As the new day dawns, the inhabitants of London come out of their houses to find that, for the first time in 1,000 years, enemy troops have set foot on the island. For now, at least.
Alright, what should we say?
Stop him!